childhood.
Right. I mean, think about it. Surrounded by the hum of cosmic secrets. That's how it's described. That's his normal.
So for him, this ceremony isn't just turning 18 or whatever, it's stepping into like a cosmic inheritance.
Precisely. He's inheriting knowledge that's potentially millions of years old.
And the fact that this all happens under the light of Sirius, I mean, that's not just a random detail, right?
It's loaded with meaning.
Hmm.
Sirius was incredibly important to the ancient Egyptians. And then there's Isis laying it all out.
Talking about his father's legacy, but also the truth hidden in the pyramids. What a moment for Horus, right? To have that dropped on you.
Imagine the weight of that history, that knowledge. She's telling him this structure, this pyramid, it's a record of everything. Their civilization, their technology, maybe even the secrets of creation itself. And then she drops another bombshell. The language of information.
Ooh, okay, we're getting to the good stuff now. What does that even mean, the language of information?
Well, she uses another phrase that's even more intriguing. The binary code of the cosmos.
Binary code, really? Now that is interesting.
Right. Like, how could they have known?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, so where they go from there?
So they end up at the Great Pyramid of Khafre. But Isis makes it clear this is no ordinary tomb.
No, not a tomb, right?
Yeah.
She calls it a monument to the origins of existence.
And there's a secret entrance hidden behind a carved relief. Isis, she just places her hand on it and it slides open.
A secret passage. Talk about an Indiana Jones moment. Where does it lead?
To knowledge. That's what she tells Horus. She says, this way to the truth. The passage itself is lined with these intricate geometric patterns, and Horus immediately gets it. He says, it's the language of creation itself, etched in stone.
Wow. Like the very design is conveying knowledge. That's pretty profound. What happens next?
They go deeper, down into the heart of the pyramid. And Isis starts explaining the layout. She says, this is the primeval mound born of a cosmic explosion.
A big bang.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. She's saying the pyramid is a representation of the very beginning of the universe.
That's a mind-blowing claim.
It is. And then she points out these 5 smaller chambers, 5 like the fingers on a hand.
5 chambers. Okay. What do they represent?
She says they represent phases of transformation, like the evolution of thought, or maybe even the evolution of the universe itself. It's a timeline written in stone.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here. But what about those 8 shafts? I mean, those are pretty prominent features in the Great Pyramid. They're not just for ventilation, are they?
That's what's so fascinating. She calls them channels into the infinite, portals to endless possibilities, each one encoding a different magnitude of infinity.
Whoa, hold on. Different magnitudes of infinity. How do you even begin to encode that?
And I know, right? It's almost inconceivable. But it suggests a level of mathematical and philosophical understanding that's far beyond anything we typically associate with ancient cultures.
Okay, so I've got the chambers, the shafts. What else?
At the deepest level, there are 2 perfect cubes. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears. What about these cubes?
Isis tells Horus, these cubes, they represent binary duality, the elemental 0 and 1 from which all information is born.
Wait, you mean binary code, like the basis of computers?
Exactly. It's the same concept, 0 and 1. Duality, yes and no. Energy and matter, wave and particle.
It's amazing to think that this idea, which we think of as modern, could be so ancient.
It is. And it really makes you wonder, what else might we have gotten wrong? What other secrets are hidden in plain sight?
Big questions.
Mm.
So after the cubes, what happens?
Isis leads Horus into this incredible hall. It's massive, carved from ancient stone, and it's filled with knowledge.
Like a library.
Way more than a library.
Right.
We're talking tablets, inscriptions, holographic projections, glowing symbols. Knowledge stored in ways we can barely imagine.
Wow, what kind of knowledge?
Everything. Their history, their scientific discoveries, their understanding of the universe. Isis calls it a scientific ledger of our origins.
A scientific ledger. That's a
Yeah.
powerful statement. She's making it clear this isn't myth or religion. This is their history, their science.
Exactly. And then she shows him something even more amazing, the armory.
An armory inside a pyramid. What's in there?
Tools and weapons forged from meteorite iron. And listen to this. The description says the rhythmic pounding of the forge echoed the heartbeat of the universe.
It's all connected, isn't it? The cosmos, the pyramids, their technology.
Yeah, there are no accidents in this story.
So after all of this, where do they go? What does Isis show him next?
She leads him to a hidden vault. And inside this vault, there's a pedestal. And on that pedestal, a crystalline device.
What is it?
Keys. Forged from meteorite iron and stardust. They glow with this strange, otherworldly light.
Keys to what?
Isis tells Horus they're the keys to everything he's just seen. The keys to the archives, the keys to their technology. But there's more. She also reveals something else. The sacred vessel.
What's that?
A flying saucer. A craft built by their ancestors to travel not just across the Earth, but across the cosmos.
Hold on. A flying saucer? This story just keeps getting wilder.
Right, but it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. So what's Horus supposed to do with this saucer?
She tells him his destiny lies through one of those 8 shafts, the channels into the infinite.
So those shafts, they're not just symbolic, they're actual pathways, aren't they?
Right. And his mission, she says, is to confront Set, the god of chaos, and restore balance.
Okay, so let's talk about the saucer. Give us the details. What does it look like?
The description is incredible. Imagine a gleaming metallic disc, adorned with binary code and geometric patterns.
Sounds pretty high-tech.
The interior, too. Panels of light, holographic maps, controls that respond to touch. It's like something out of a science fiction. And his ascent is described as soaring upwards along a spiral staircase within a towering vertical passage, likened to a cosmic DNA helix. It's like he's traveling along the very structure of creation itself.
It's a powerful image. And then there's that phrase again, the embodiment of primordial information transmission, a stream of binary data flowing into infinity.
It's connecting his journey, his mission, to that fundamental binary code.
So it's not just a flight, it's a transmission of information.
Right. It's like he's broadcasting a message to the cosmos. She confirms it. She says, these cubes, they are the elemental keys, nothing and everything, the binary foundation for which all infinite structures arise.
Wow. So at the deepest level of reality, they believed it was all about information. Code. That's incredible.
It is. And remember those geometric patterns we talked about, the ones lining the passage?
Yeah, what about them?
Horus, he looks at them and says, this is a language that predates even the gods, a language of pure information and order.
He's saying the architecture itself is a code.
He is. And Isis, she agrees. She says the precise measurements and angles of this pyramid, they tell a story, a scientific story of origins, encoded in numbers and shapes, built upon simple, elegant principles.
It's like they're saying math is the language of creation.
Exactly. And then there's this other conversation where Horus looks at the 4 faces of the pyramid and says, these represent space-time, right? But what about the cubes? Their geometries are immutable, like they don't change.
What does Isis say about that?
She explains that the pyramid, with its 4 faces, represents the space-time continuum, the ever-changing fabric of the universe. And the cubes, those represent discrete, fundamental units, the basic building blocks of reality.
So the pyramid is the canvas, and the cubes are the pixels.
It's a great analogy. She goes on to say the cubes are like the digital atoms of creation, the quantized essence, the underlying digital structure that encodes the laws of nature.
Okay, hold up. Did she just say digital structure?
She did. Pretty mind-blowing, right?
Totally.
And in another exchange, Horus connects the cosmic mound and the cubes to the idea of the Big Bang.
Horus is about to embark on his mission to confront Set. How does he put all this knowledge together?
He tells Isis. So the pyramid represents continuous space-time, and the cubes, they embody the discrete code. And mathematics is the language that confirms this transformation.
He's got it. He understands the connection between the structure of the universe and the fundamental code that underpins it.
And Isis, she's proud. She tells him, you see the unified picture, the genesis of the cosmos, both the expansion of space-time and the emergence of information.
And then it's time for him to go.
Right. But first, he asks her, how do I use all this? How do I face Set with this knowledge?
And what does she tell him?
She gives him the keys and says, these are the cipher to the archives, and you have command of the sacred vessel to navigate the cosmic shafts. Use this knowledge, Horus. Use the binary truth, the ordered progression of creation to counter chaos. Become the embodiment of cosmic order.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And then she gives him her final blessing. She says, go forth, Horus, guided by the eternal algorithm. The secrets of the pyramids are yours to wield. May they be your luminous legacy.
And so begins his quest.
To restore balance to the universe.
Wow.